Welcome back everybody to another one of my aviation history videos, and this is episode 18 in my series on the history of the RCAF units. Now in today's video we're going to be looking at the history of 415 Squadron, and the 415 actually has a distinction of having some unique, not only one-off jobs, but one-off aircraft types used by the RCAF. And as a beginning as a torpedo bomber squadron in World War II on to its current role as a long-range patrol unit, the squadron has served the RCAF faithfully for many years. But before we get too far into this, my name is Sean and this is Sean's Aviation. Now before we get too far into this video, I do want to say thank you for all of you who are out there watching this video. If you haven't yet, down below, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you want to get notified on more content being released on this channel. I usually release 4 or 5 videos a month depending on my schedule and content availability and all that kind of stuff. Now every time you do like and subscribe, all that stuff does help the analytics and grow this channel, get this out to more people who would be interested in this content. Now, for those of you who want to possibly help out in a bit more concrete way, a bit of a monetary way of helping this channel, then down below you'll see my link to my coffee account. I almost always have a coffee. I don't right now. It's late at night. I don't want to be up all night, but I usually almost always have a coffee on the go while I'm down here working at the bench or filming these videos or doing any of my research. So if you'd like, again, down below in the description, you'll see the link to my coffee account. You can head over there, buy me a coffee, do what little you can to help support the channel. That being said, it is not an obligation. Please don't feel like you have to do it. That's not why I'm making this channel. I'm here to have fun, do what I enjoy, and bring you guys along for the ride. So on that said, let's jump into this video. We'll take a look at the history of 415 Squadron. 415 Squadron was initially formed on August 20th of 1941, Thorney Island, under 16 Group as RCAF's 4th Coastal Command Unit and the only RCAF unit designated for torpedo bombing. They were initially assigned the squadron code GX and began their service flying Bristol Beauforts in September. Now they used these for the initial training only and never took them into combat, converting to the Hadley Page Hampton in January of 1942. By February, all of the Beauforts were gone and they began training on the Hamptons full time. On April 11th, the unit relocated to St. Ivel and fell under the command of 19 Group. The unit was deemed operational, and then they flew their first mission on April 27th when 2 Hamptons flew an anti-shipping patrol, with 1 aircraft sighting 2 Spanish fishing trawlers and 2 unidentified aircraft. On May 16th, the unit moved back to Thorney Island and 16 Group. A few weeks later, on May 29th, the unit scored its first victory when 3 aircraft sighted an enemy convoy of 6 vessels and 5 flagships and attacked the largest one. It was claimed as damaged, but 1 aircraft failed to return to base. June 5th brought a move to North Coats, and on July 31st, they moved to Wick, Scotland, moving over to 18 Group. On September 1st, they moved to Tain, and on September 10th, they moved off to Lukers. During October, the unit sent 2 detachments back south, 1 to 19 Group at St. Ivel, and 1 to 16 Group at Thorney Island. On November 11th, the entire unit was relocated back to Thorney Island under 16 Group, and they stayed here for the next year. In September of 1943, the unit gave up their Hamptons, replacing them with Wellington Mark 13s, and they changed the unit identifier from GX to NH, but I am unsure as to why the change. The next month, the unit started to receive Fairey Albacore aircraft to complement the Wellingtons. These were aircraft designed to replace the outdated Fairey Swordfish, but they never got widespread use as newer aircraft came around to fill the carrier-based torpedo role, and they were only roughly 800 built, and 415 was the only Canadian unit to operate them. The Wellingtons and Albacores would work in unison, and together became one of the best E-boat hunters in the Channel. The Wellingtons would fly higher and use its radar to find the E-boats, then would direct in the Albacores, who would then attack and knock out the boats. An early and effective form of airborne command and control. In November of 1943, the unit moved to Bircham Newton and continued in the Coastal Command role. On D-Day, June 6th of 1944, the unit used their aircraft to lay smoke screens to protect the troops who were landing on the Normandy beaches. In July, with the landings firmly entrenched and the amount of German shipping in the Channel down to almost nothing, the unit gave up their Coastal Command role and moved over to Bomber Command. They moved to Eastmoor on July 26 and were here till the end of the war. They relinquished their Wellingtons and Albacores and re-equipped with Halifax Mark IIIs, taking on the squadron identifier of 6U, but again, can't find any real reason as to why the change was made. They flew their first bomber mission on the night of July 28th-29th with a raid on Hamburg. 1 aircraft crashed on takeoff, and 1 failed to return from the mission. Starting in March of 1945, the unit began to receive the upgraded Halifax Mark VII, but only 6 were delivered before the unit was disbanded on May 15th of 1945. During World War II, the unit flew 3,523 sorties, 1,645 torpedo bomber missions, and 1,608 heavy bomber missions. 15,278 operation hours were flown, comprising 6,243 torpedo bomber hours and 9,035 heavy bomber hours. As a torpedo bomber unit, it dropped 196 tons of bombs and was credited with 5 ships sunk, 2 damaged, and 2 shared sinking. It suffered 33 aircraft lost, with 14 crew killed, 97 missing, and 4 POWs. As a heavy bomber unit, it was credited with 5,041.7 tons of bombs and 797.7 tons of incendiaries dropped, with 1 enemy aircraft confirmed shot down and 1 probable. It suffered 22 aircraft lost, with 151 aircrew either killed, missing, or POWs. 415 was reactivated as a maritime patrol squadron at RCAF Station Summerside on May 1st of 1961. It was assigned CP-107 Argus aircraft and began to patrol the Atlantic approaches. In 1964, it picked up search and rescue duties for Maritime Air Command, and on February 1st of 1968, the unit was absorbed into the Canadian Forces and continued in its maritime patrol duties. In 1970, it began doing patrols on behalf of fisheries and oceans, looking for illegal fishing as well as pollution caused by the illegal dumping of waste from ships. It also began northern patrols to exercise Canada's sovereignty in the vast northern reaches of the country, and on January 24th of 1978, it helped look for the remains of a Soviet nuclear-powered satellite that re-entered over the Northwest Territories. In June of 1981, the unit moved to its present home at CFB Greenwood and replaced the CP-107 with the CP-140 Aurora. During the Gulf War in 1991, the unit was relocated to the Mediterranean and took part in surface surveillance as well as testing the air defense capability of the Canadian Naval Detachment in the area. In 1993, the unit was part of the operation to enforce the arms embargo on the former Republic of Yugoslavia. In 2001, the unit took part in Operation Apollo, where 1 CP-140 was based in the Arabian Sea in support of the global war on terror. This extended into 2002 and 2003, when it was stood down to achieve an overall mission rate of 97%. After this, the unit kept a high level of readiness in case the need to redeploy overseas on short notice was needed. 415 continued to fulfill all the same missions with the CP-140 as it did with the CP-107 in and around Canada, and has recently added anti-narcotic missions in conjunction with the RCMP and Customs. It was stood down in 2005 while it merged with 405 Squadron. On June 5th of 2015, the unit was reformed as a development squadron, incorporating the former Maritime Proving and Evaluation Unit, the 14th Software Engineering Unit, and the Long Range Patrol Training Flight. 415 now provides all the necessary training and evaluation needs for all the Long Range Patrol units and provides validation on new technology, techniques, and systems to ensure the smooth integration across the fleet. Now, with a possible long-range patrol airframe replacement on the horizon, most likely with the P-8 Poseidon, 415 is going to be pretty busy ensuring that these new techniques and aircraft and all that other stuff is smoothly transitioned into the RCAF. Now, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you all next time.
Thank you for watching, guys, and as always, if you are interested in any of the content you see, you can access my website at www.seans-aviation.com. You can see all the latest pictures of aircraft and museums and the build logs of all of my current models and past models on that site. And if you're interested in any of this content, please click the subscribe button here on YouTube to follow more. Thank you very much, and see you guys next time.